Hi guys, welcome to Knit by Nick. My name is Nick and I knit, and today we're going to be talking about Josh O'Connor's knit sweaters. So, if you haven't heard about Josh O'Connor, he is this British actor and he's been in many big Hollywood productions. And he's sort of known in the internet as this gentleman, soft boy type of guy. But more recently, people have been talking about his knit sweaters. I'm going to be going through, I think, around 10 knit sweaters worn by Josh O'Connor, and I'm going to be doing that retroactively. So I'm going to start in 2025, and then I'm going to go down all the way to 2020, which is around, I think, more or less the time where the knit sweater craze began. So in 2025, for the Rebuilding movie press tour, he was seen wearing this cardigan with two ducks. It's this blue cardigan with two white ducks and this diamond motif on the sleeves. This sweater is by SS Daily. Thank you, Josh O'Connor, for showing me this brand. I had never heard about SS Daily. I was looking at their sweaters online on their website, and they're not like, I mean, for a luxury brand, for like a Hollywood actor wearing them, they're not like crazy expensive. They're like between 500 and 600 euros. SS Daily is essentially this British brand that's trying to keep old London boy style alive, or at least that's what I gather from their statements online. And it seems to be a fairly new brand as well. I think they started in 2020, but I'm not sure. Everything that I say in this video from now on, take it with a grain of salt. It was really hard doing research for this video. If I say something wrong in this video, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to add some corrections in the description for the video. But I think SS Daily is a fairly new brand, definitely from the UK. Josh O'Connor has been seen in a couple of their sweaters, and they're not, as I said earlier, they're not like crazy expensive. Josh O'Connor has worn more expensive sweaters than this. I was looking through their website, and they have another really cute cardigan that instead of ducks, they're like little sheep, little cute sheep, and I thought that was really cute. If you've watched my knit and crochet plans video for 2026, you know that this year I really want to make a pair of crochet shorts. And when I was looking at SS Daily's website, I saw a really cute pair of crochet shorts for men. They were very delicate. I'm going to try and put a picture here on the screen. But they were really cute. And I don't know, they might be good inspiration for me, actually. I was not expecting to see crochet shorts on their website. When I was doing this research. But anyway, also in 2025, Josh O'Connor was a guest on Saturday Night Live, and he wore three really interesting sweaters that I'm going to be talking about here today. And the first one that I want to talk about is this blue knit sweater with a penguin intarsia graphic. So apparently this is from a WWF campaign, and it's a campaign that's called Knit for Nature. The purpose of this campaign is to raise awareness to the challenges that penguins face in the wild. I have no idea what these challenges are. I don't know how a knit sweater can raise awareness to challenges that penguins face in the wild, but I might be looking up what those challenges are after I record this video. Maybe I should have done that prior to recording this video. But anyway, this sweater was part of this WWF campaign, and this sweater was designed by Ruth Herring, who is, I think her Instagram is Confessions of a Yarnaholic or something on Instagram. Anyway, besides this penguin sweater, there is another sweater from this campaign, which is, it's this orange knit sweater with like a tiger intarsia. Similar to this penguin knit sweater, but it's just like a tiger instead, and it's a lot like bigger and a lot more. I think this knit sweater with the penguin, the mama penguin and the baby penguin is really cute. I think it fits Josh's soft boy personality, or at least the image that they're trying to paint of him online. He also wore this like gray crop top knit sweater from Coach Summer and Spring 2026 collection. And it's a bit like kawaii. There's like, I don't know, the outline of what seems to be either a dog or like some sort of animal, maybe a seal or something. I don't know, but there's two big white circles right on the nips, and then this like what's that called? Like a snout? Like a snout? I think it's called a snout. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's this like crop top, very tight, very cute, pretty Gen Z, I would say, type of sweater. I'm not sure about the gray color, but Anyway, this sweater has also been worn by other celebrities. I think the guy from Stranger Things also wore this sweater at some point, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, this was one of the sweaters that people were talking a lot about online, and it's one of the sweaters that definitely needed to be here in this video. And then lastly, on SNL, Josh O'Connor wore this black sweater with like musical notes, this musical notes motif. It was really hard finding where the sweater is actually from. Some people online are saying that this is a vintage Dior sweater. I couldn't confirm this anywhere. And now we're going to be talking about why this is probably vintage Dior. And that's because Josh O'Connor is often styled by Harry Lambert. Harry Lambert is also British. And Harry Lambert has a really good relationship with Jonathan Anderson. Jonathan Anderson has just been appointed in 2025 as the new creative director for Dior. So I'm going to expand on this relationship a bit more. Harry Lambert is a very renowned stylist. He's styled many other British celebrities like Harry Styles, I think Emilia Clarke, I think a bunch of other famous people. And also, I saw a listing for this sweater on Etsy for it's not the original Dior, vintage Dior. If it is actually vintage Dior, I'm not entirely sure. But like I saw a pretty good recreation of this sweater on Etsy for just 185 euros. And it doesn't seem to be Dior. But I don't even know what it's this page on Etsy that's called Bessie Boogie or something like that. I don't know. It was this user on Reddit who posted the link. I have no idea who this is. There seems to be like a D on the sleeve, a D that really resembles the Dior font. And considering Harry Lambert is a stylist, Harry Lambert's relationship with Jonathan Anderson, who's the new creative director of Dior, it would make sense for Josh O'Connor to wear a vintage Dior sweater. And I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing Josh O'Connor in a lot more Dior from now on, especially because of this relationship between his stylist and Jonathan Anderson. Let's dive a little deeper into Jonathan Anderson here. Jonathan Anderson has his own brand now, but before being creative director for Dior, he was the creative director for Loewe, or as I like to call them, Loewe. And so when Jonathan Anderson was still at Loewe, Josh O'Connor was seen wearing a lot of Loewe. And that takes me to the Challengers Press Tour, the 2024 Challengers Press Tour. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. This is when I started noticing Josh O'Connor more as an actor. I think he's a fantastic actor. Like more recently in his like latest movie, the Knives Out movie from Netflix, like he's such a good actor and he's just so. I mean, Josh O'Connor, do you want a house tour? Also, when I saw the movie Emma with him, where he plays the priest, I thought that was, I don't know, he's just so good. He's just such a good actor. And like, I thought it was funny to see him as a priest again in the Netflix movie. But yeah, I remember him from Challengers. I remember him from Emma. I remember him from Knives Out. What else has he been in? He's been in this like Riot Club movie that I remember watching when I was a teenager, like a long time ago. Okay, not a long time ago. I'm not that old. But I don't remember him in the movie. I remember watching that movie, but I don't remember him in it. And then I also saw in his like filmography that he's been in Peaky Blinders. He's been in this movie with Paul Mescal called History of Sound or something that I really want to watch. What else has he been in? Of course, he's Prince Charles in The Crown. In one of the seasons of The Crown, he plays young Prince Charles. Anyway, let's go back to this Challengers Press Tour because he wore another SS Daily sweater. And I was a bit surprised to see him in an SS Daily sweater in 2024 because in 2024, he was full on like Loewe boy. He was pretty much the face of Loewe. I don't think he had any official partnerships with Loewe. After this sweater, all the other sweaters are going to be Loewe. So get ready. This one that I'm going to be talking about right now is also SS Daily, that British cute old London style boy. And it also has this animal motif, which is these two like Dachshund.
Dachshund.
In den Dachshund, auch Teckel genannt,
whatever you want to call this, the sausage dog. This sweater is in like this toned down blue with like the white background, the red outline detail, and then the two blue like dogs. And those are not the colors that I saw on the website. I think they were different colors on the website, but I really like this one that he wore with the V-neck. I think the blue really suits him. I don't know. I really like the sweater. I think it's fun, and I think it also plays to his personality really well. And again, I think this was listed for about 600 euros on SS Daily's website. Okay, so now, I mean, cup of tea, right, Stephanie?
Feet up, relax, cup of tea.
Now we're gonna get into all of the the long list of Loewe sweaters worn by Josh O'Connor. And the first one that I'm gonna be addressing is this one from the Challengers Press Tour in 2024. I don't really understand what's going on in this sweater. It's a lot of colors: neon green, hot pink, bright blue, like highlighter yellow. There's something written on it. It seems to say like pale for dawn, but for death. I don't know what it says. I don't understand. I didn't find this on any runways. If you know what runway this is from, or this is some like personal archive from Harry Lambert. It's not my favorite sweater, to be honest. It's definitely a little crazy. I don't think it fits the Challenger's mood really well, but it's on the list of Josh O'Connor's iconic crazy sweaters. Let me know what you think about this sweater in the comments, because it's personally not my favorite. And also not with these like leathered pants that he's wearing. What the hell?
Scared.
Anyway, I hope you guys are ready to check out some other Loewe's sweaters. So Loewe is a Spanish brand, and that ties to the next category of sweaters that we're going to talk about, which are all from Loewe's men's spring summer collection from 2024. And Josh O'Connor had this like feature in this Spanish magazine called Esquire. I think that's what it's called. It says, La mejor versión del hombre Esquire. Josh O'Connor juega con emociones. It actually says, Josh juega con emociones O'Connor. He's on the cover of this magazine. I don't know this magazine. And he is wearing one of Loewe's chunky knit sweaters. And I'm kind of obsessed with this sweater, mostly because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, it's just like a chunky knit sweater with the different colors, in different places. And it kind of reminded me of American Apparel in like 2013, where they had those like mismatched, like, but in a very organized way, like those mismatched pastel color garments. They actually made the sweater in another color as well, with like colder tones, because this one has like the red and the yellow. It's very like warm. But there is another version of the sweater from the same collection, which is in like colder tones, which I really love. These tones of blue and cream are just gorgeous. But take a closer look into the sweater, specifically at the sleeves, and you'll notice that the weight of the yarn changes throughout the sleeve. So around here, by the by the elbow, you can see that the yarn is a lot thicker than in here by the inward part of the elbow. That's a really interesting detail, and it really got me thinking, like, how do they actually do that? Because it seems to be like a gradient. It seems to go from like a thinner yarn to like a very thick yarn, and then back to a thin yarn. And then it also seems to be just in this section by the elbow, and then all the way down to the cuff by the hands. I don't know. That's really interesting. It really got me thinking about the construction of the sweater and the yarn that they used. Anyway, I think it's nostalgic to me as well to see something with these like very, how do you say, separated colors, like the squared sleeve in yellow. Like, I don't know, it really reminds me of American Apparel. It's really nostalgic to me for some reason. But as I said earlier, I prefer the one with the colder tones. But I was actually thinking of trying to recreate the sweater, and I think that could be an interesting video for the channel, recreating one of Josh O'Connor's sweaters or like one of Loewe's sweaters. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you'd like to see that, because it doesn't seem that hard to recreate. And yeah, I think a lot of people like the sweater online as well, from what I remember in the comments. Okay, and then the other sweater that he wore in this magazine photo shoot, it's also Loewe, and it's also men's spring summer collection from 2024. And it's very interesting, this sweater. I don't really know how to describe it. I'm not even entirely sure that this is 100% knit, because there's like a certain structure to it. And okay, so from what I can see here in the picture, there seems to be like a cutout here by the shoulder, which is really interesting. And then there also seem to be some like appliques by the elbows and the upper arm here. These like rectangular structures like coming out of it. It's really interesting. And then this very like structured neckline as well, which is a bit tailored but also not. It reminds me of like a tailored suit, but it's not at all a suit. Also, okay, it's funny that it reminds me of a suit because in the photo shoot itself, Joshua Connor is wearing a suit underneath this sweater. It's not really a sweater, it's more like a cardigan. But anyway, this is a really interesting construction of a garment. I really like the styling of putting the blazer under this sweater. I think the blazer underneath kind of takes away the edginess of the cutout and like of the crop top and the whole structure of the cardigan. And the blazer adds even more structure to the look. I don't know. I thought it was a really smart styling feature to add the blazer under this cardigan. Really interesting knit piece. I really hope that this is knit and then I'm not just like, I don't know, going crazy. And then for the next sweater we're going to be talking about, it's also Loewe, and it's also from the Spring Summer 2024 collection. Oh, wait, is it? It's definitely Loewe, but I don't know what collection this is from. And it's this black, red, yellow, blue, orange argyle pattern sweater. This is traditionally related to Scotland, this argyle pattern. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know if it's argyle or argyle.
Argyle, a knitted pattern of diamond shapes on plain background, especially on a sweater or on socks.
I'm going to be saying argyle from now on. If it's argyle, let me know.
Argyle,
He wore this sweater. Okay, so the argyle pattern
Argyle,
is traditionally Scottish, and it was popularized in the 1920s, primarily through golf wear. And I think today is related to this like preppy, old money type of person. And I think it's interesting to kind of have a new take on it with these like gigantic diamond patterns. It's not like the traditional argyle.
Argyle,
It's a bit like reinvented in a way. When I was looking at J.W. Anderson, which is Jonathan Anderson's own brand, I was a bit disappointed because I saw basically the same sweater. So I was a bit disappointed to see that he basically had a very, very, very similar design to this in his website today, because I don't know, he was designing for Loewe at the time. This is like a Loewe sweater. And now you can basically get the same one at J.W. Anderson. But I'm not really a fashion person that much. Like, I don't really know how the fashion industry works that well. So maybe this isn't a common thing. But what impressed me the most was that Josh O'Connor actually wore this sweater for like the women's runway show for Loewe, the Spring Summer 2024 women's show in France at the Château de Vincennes.
Is how it is said in French in France.
And what impressed me the most is that he sat right next to Anna Wintour herself. That was crazy to me when I saw the pictures and I was like, wait, they placed him right next to Anna Wintour. Anyway, I really like the argyle sweaters, as you can see.
Argyle,
I like that it's this like gigantic diamond shaped, like it's a bit of a new, fresher take on the traditional Scottish argyle sweater.
Argyle,
Okay, and I just want to point out that the shoes that he's wearing for this runway show, okay, and we finally reached the last sweater that I want to talk about. I mean, he's worn so many sweaters throughout the years, so many like he's worn different argyle sweaters as well.
Argyle,
He has this one in green that I just haven't researched. I just brought these like 10 sweaters that were kind of like the ones that I really wanted to talk about because of SS Daily, the brand that I didn't know when I got to know because of this video and doing research for it. But okay, back to the sweaters. In 2020, for the Graham Norton show, Josh O'Connor wore what's probably the most controversial knit sweater he's ever worn, which is this Aran sweater with like a circle cutout that's been like attached to the sweater. I don't even know how to describe this in words. You kind of have to see it. So basically, they took an Aaron sweater, they cut a huge like circle of the sweater, and then twisted it, and then like re-sewed that circled patch in with this like strong blue lining. And it reminded me of the Game of Wool challenge where they had to repurpose the Aaron sweaters because Elsa and Isaac did something similar with their stitching in purple. And it makes me wonder if they had this in mind, like the judges and the competitors. If you haven't watched my Game of Wool video, oh my god, go watch it. But it reminds me of that challenge, and people online hated this sweater. People online were like mad. And I think I actually, you know what? I'm gonna read some comments that I've seen in this on this website. I think when he wore this sweater, he was still playing Prince Charles in The Crown. So it's also interesting to put him in like a very traditional Aaron sweater. But let me just read you the comments real quick that I saw on this website. It's called Knitting Paradise. And here it says, why would someone wear something like that? And I'd bet it costs a lot of money. Ew. Someone who hasn't yet realized that just because you can doesn't mean you should. Sad to do that to a sweater. Sacrilege, but remember that folk are paying large sums for shredded jeans these days. No accounting for taste or style. Why would anyone wear something like that? It looks ridiculous. People hated it in this website, at least. I personally think it's very interesting. I think it's a kind of a bold move to wear something that's a bit, I'm gonna say it, controversial. And then I also saw this other picture of him wearing a very similar sweater. Oh, by the way, this sweater is also Loewe. It was really hard to find the source for this sweater, but I think on British Vogue they mentioned very briefly. There's a capture in one of the photos in the British Vogue website that says that this is Loewe, but I'm just gonna trust that this is a reliable source because I could not find, for the love of God, any information about the sweater. It was really, really hard, and like, oh my God, if you know more about the sweater, let me know. And I also came across this other photo shoot with this like night blue background where he's wearing another Aaron sweater with the same motif, you know, like these deconstructed cutouts and then sewn back together as patches. It's not the same one that he wore for the Graham Norton show. So that makes me question like, okay, this must have been a collection or something, or like there are more of these sweaters and I want to know where they're from. Like I can trust British Vogue and like confidently say that okay, they're Loewe, but I want to see more of them. Like this picture with the blue background, like the sky background, I couldn't even find the original photo shoot that this is from. So yeah. And then also during my research, I just want to like open a pair of brackets here that I found this Nike Aaron sweater and I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. I love the idea of like a sports brand doing this very like traditional Irish, bougie, like old money Aaron sweater with their logo on it. Oh, so cool. Yeah. Oh my God. When I saw that, and then lastly, I also want to talk about how more recently he was on like Josh O'Connor was on a Netflix movie called Wake Up Dead Men, I think. This is like one of the Knives Out like movies. I also just want to open another pair of brackets here and like talk about how much I appreciate Josh O'Connor's like skill, like acting skills. He's just such a good actor. And I was really impressed by his American accent in the movie because he's British.
Hamburger. It's just quite hard to say.
He has like a natural British accent, but in the movie he was doing such a good accent, and it was such a slap in the face to that guy that plays James Bond. I think it's Daniel Craig, his name, who's like been playing Benoit Blanc in these Knives Out movies. And his American accent is just terrible. It's like notoriously bad. Like people hated his American accent.
You will find me a respectful, quiet, passive observer of the truth.
Daniel's got an interesting accent.
So I think it's just a real like slap in the face to him to have like this younger British actor doing kind of like a better job than him, but don't tell him that. And then also I think Helen Mirren is in this movie. Also like super like renowned actress, you know, who's been in the industry for decades. And like there's this scene in the movie where Josh O'Connor is like holding her in his arms. And I'm like, wow, he's really made it. You know, he's really made it. And I love him. And Josh O'Connor, I want you to and then we can and just like all night. And yeah, I was talking about I was talking about Wake Up Dead Men because I saw this clip on Instagram. I think it was Netflix's Instagram where they gifted Josh O'Connor an Aaron sweater.
Wow. Oh, wow, look. That's a Christmas Knives Out jumper. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks so much, everyone. Oh.
And that's because in the first Knives Out movie, Chris Evans wears this iconic piece of costume design in movies, which is this rugged Aaron sweater with like holes, and you can see that it's like really wasted. And like, I want to make a whole video about this sweater that Chris Evans wears in this movie and like why they decided to put this Aaron sweater in this character. I think I'm gonna make like a video about iconic knit sweaters in films and stuff and TV maybe. Let me know if you'd watch that because yeah, I don't know. But the point about this sweater is that like Chris Evans' character in this original Knives Out movie, he has like fights with his family. His family is very rich, very old money, and Aaron sweaters represent that. They represent this old money traditional theme. And then his character kind of doesn't go along with that, like, or he goes along with like the rich old money thing, but his family hates him. He's like fighting for inheritance. And to put him in this traditional old money Aaron sweater piece that represents all of that and then be like completely destroyed with holes in it, it says so much. Like it speaks so well to the story. Like it's just good costume design and film, and it deserves talking about. I love it. And Netflix giving him an Aaron sweater like that, referencing this piece of costume design, shows me that Netflix is aware of how iconic this costume design moment was. And it was funny because Josh O'Connor didn't understand why he was getting an Aaron sweater. Yeah. So anyway.
How is this related to Knives Out? Sorry.
But Chris Evans is wearing the first.
Of course it is. Chris Evans wore it in the first one. Brilliant. I'm delighted. Chris Evans, who the hell's he?
So yeah, I mean, there are other sweaters that we could talk about. I just wanted to address my love for Josh O'Connor and eternalize it here on the internet with this video. I am obsessed with this actor. I think he's really good at what he does. I love that he's like now a synonym of knit sweaters, and I hope he wears more knit sweaters and more silly knit sweaters. And I kind of want to recreate that Loewe chunky sweater. But anyway, let me know in the comments which one was your favorite sweater. If you like Josh O'Connor, what movies should I watch with Josh O'Connor? Just comment anything Josh O'Connor, Josh O'Connor, Josh O'Connor, Josh O'Connor, and Josh O'Connor. And yeah, I think we've reached that part of the video where I say, if you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. Share this video with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell notification so you know when my next video comes out. And I wish I'd get notified if Josh O'Connor ever comes out. Wait, let me just... Is Josh O'Connor gay? Oh. No, okay, but... Anyway, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. You guys know what to do. And thanks for watching, and bye.
You do it with a tilt though, head tilt.
All right.
Thank you.